hits, the elites are planning. When the next crisis hits, the elites are planning to freeze the financial system, and they'll replace it with a new system, one not based on the U.S. dollar. When that happens, we'll wake up to a very strange and disturbing new reality. And for our viewers that are watching today, what might their reality look like that morning? How does this manifest? First, they'll have gone to bed knowing that a massive financial crisis was underway. But when they wake up, they'll find it has worsened and the contagion has spread worldwide. When they go to withdraw money, their ATM will say closed temporarily. When they go to sell stocks, their account will say transaction not available. When they go to their local business, that business will only accept cash if it's open. As citizens realize they're being barred from their money, riots will erupt. They've rigged the financial laws, changed the rules of the game to allow this to happen. The stage is set. They have the levers in place. The lights are positioned. Now someone just needs to flick a switch. When the next crisis...
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. The bonus of the apostles and the elders of great millstone, salutations to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. Unto the foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. And that crisis can happen any moment at any time. And guess what happens? All that you work for, going to shit. And this is why we always constantly, men of GMS will always keep it real. Unlike these other camps, there's no fairy tale in this. The real is these things have to happen. Right? That's why the scripture says gold and silver should not, riches profit not in a day of destruction. So the motion is set, things are in order. Okay? And at any moment they could do this. Any moment, at any time. And then what will happen if they freeze it? Like, I know I got money, but you can't get access to it. And those who have physical money on them can easily get got. So it's all rigged. It's rigged for failure. This is why you're not supposed to be concerned about these riches. And we always go into, if you look at the dollar bill, it's a talisman. And if you know anything about history and talismans and all this other shit, the more talismans supposed to be like you can say a good luck charm or something like that, that's able to buy you out of certain situations. And this is why the race B, those who have more money, are able to get out of any situation, but not in all cases. The more money you have in this world, the more you can get got physically. Real quick, Matthew 6:19. So lay not up for thyself treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. So the treasures that's supposed to be accounted for is spiritual. Okay? The physical money can actually be stolen from you. And once it's stolen, you will never be able to get it back. How can you claim something that you have when it could disappear? That's how you know that this whole thing is rigged. But what the main thing to focus on is what the world had people to focus on. The least important things you could think of, everybody's been honing on to it. So everybody walking around right now, still looking for that, still trying to maintain the little things that they have, but not realizing they're about to lose it all. And that's what was it, 2008? We had was it 2008? Shit, 2009, 2008. Matter of fact, it might be 9 and 10. That's when I got in the truth. So it was Greece. Let me see something. Slovakia. Hold on a second. It was actually 2010. Greek government debt crisis. The government enact 12 rounds of tax increases, spending cuts, and reforms from 2010 to 2006. It says AI overview. 2010 Greek debt crisis sparked by global recession occurred when Greece hitting massive budget defect. 15.4 of the GDP was revealed, leading to loss of market confidence, junk rating, and need for a 100,000 billion. No, sorry, 100,000. 110 billion bailout. Harsh authority, uh, uh, harsh, harsh, harsh austerity measures forced to secure funds caused massive unemployment, violent protests, and severe economic contracts. It says physical mismanagement of and debt, years of overspending. Sounds familiar? Apocchio accounting revealed a defect far exceeding Eurozone limits. Global recession, that goes back to 2008. Financial crisis exposed Greece's weak, competitive, and high debt. Bond, bond market crisis. In early 2010, credit rating agency downgraded Greek debt to junk, preventing the government from borrowing to pay its bills. Uh, strategically weakness, structurally weakness. Sorry, a bloated public sector and low tax revenues crippled the government's ability to handle the crisis. I understood something too, because in Europe they have like more of a lax, they have a more of a lax economy where they don't put much. Everything they have something better than what America has. Everything that goes into the future and tell you what they take the money for. Unlike this place in America, they just take the money from you. They don't tell you shit. All right. I mean, most of it goes to Israel anyway. It says the crisis response consequences, the bailouts to avoid a default and prevent a contagious effect across Europe. The rhetorical, I don't know what that is. IMF, ECB, European Common. Let me see what this says right here. Turkey, Troika. A group of three people working together, establishing an administration or managerial capacity. Going back to this, it says the Troika, IMF, ECB, European Commission provided three bailouts between 2010 and 2015, totally over 280 billion. God damn. Austerity measures. The loans were conditionally and severe austerity, including deep budget cuts, tax increases, and pension slashes, which is ironically funny because here in America they tax you on every fucking thing. They tax you for working. They tax you at the gas pump. Tax you when you buy food. They tax you. They tax this taxes on everything, and yet this place is still in great debt. It says economic and social impact. The economy sinked. Unemployment peaked over 27 and nearly 60,000 for sorry 60% for youth. The crisis created a humanitarian situation and with high poverty rates. Protests, the severe long-term impact led to widespread social unrest and riots in Athens, which is the capital of Greece. So this took place in real life. Yet they bounced back, and as they bounced back, I believe it was that's what the scripture says. Some were partly strong, some partly weak, which we saw live and direct was whatchamacallit, Greece. Now when that happened, I remember people was going to the ATM. They only could take X amount of money per day. I believe it was like $100. Let me see if it says um, ATM limit. It says in June 22. No, that's afterwards. Oh wow, that's crazy. So peep this. In June 2015, following a breakdown in the bailout negotiation, Greece imposed strict capital controls, closing banks and limiting ATM withdrawals to €60 per day. What the fuck can you do with €60 per day? And that's exactly what happened. Right as we are speaking these things to life in the truth, this was happening live and direct. Okay? So yeah, worrying about earthly things when it easily can be taken from you is the worst possible outcome that you could have. Because at any moment, at any time, those people that controls that sector will do what? They could easily take it away from you. And that's what the Greek people would do. They have not mentioned anything if they ever um, came back. Definitely in the United States of America, which the way the news operate, you could have a crisis for like a week. That'd be the hot topic. Like right now, yesterday was a when I put this up, it's going to be 2 days. But on Sunday was the Super Bowl, and the whole hot topic was Bad Bunny and Trump's response. And people forgot about. I don't know what last week's news was about. I believe it was last week's news was about the whole Epstein thing. So people have this, which they're trained by the higher elites to remain in darkness, to have like a dark mindset. So you don't even know your surroundings, what's happening. This is how in 19, I believe it was 1913. Let me see if I could, is it either 1913 gold financial crisis? It says 1913 financial landscape was defined by the aftermath of 1907. No. 19, is it 19? I think it's 1913. Was it a gold act or gold standard? It says in 1913, the U.S. gold standard was in, integrated into the newly created Federal Reserve System, requiring 40% gold backing for the currency at the fixed rate of $20.67 per ounce. This system, man, imagine getting gold that price right now. This system ensured monetary stability in foreign exchange, but restrict monetary policy reflecting sorry ref, reflectability. It began to collapse during the Great Depression, leading to 1933 suspension of the gold convertibility. Now, what I'm looking for was it Jekyll Iron, right? I think it was around the same time. Jekyll. Oh, I spelled it wrong. It was 1913. It says a small group of powerful bankers met secretly at the Jekyll Island Club, disguised as a duck hunt to draft an ID-rich plan for a central banking system to stabilize the U.S. economy, leading to the creation of the Federal Reserve System. So that to some of us who wasn't born at the time, caught up in a system that clearly has nothing um, good for us, and we thinking that this is the best possible way of living, not understanding that this whole thing that's in motion was to keep people vulnerable to a crisis like that. Because if you, in reality, if you have money, which I'm gonna get this scripture real quick, if you have tangible money around, there's no need to strengthen up the bank. But what they did, it made everybody um, trust in the bank. Okay, so people end up putting their money into the bank because they made it law. They made it law that everybody had to put their money into that. Um, Luke 11, 20, no, 21. When a strong man armed keepeth his palace, his goods are in peace. What is a man's goods? His treasure. All right. But if you take away that man's security, then his goods are no longer safekeeping. No longer are they safe because now people around is not strong enough to protect their own stuff. So they have everybody really trusting in the bank. But like I said, when you know it's bad when you only limited so much money, and it got so bad. I remember that whole Greece thing. It got so bad they only could take out X amount of money, and People was losing it. All right, and none of the European nations was really trying to trying to aid them. I believe at that time Germany had the strongest. Um, they had the strongest economy. They could have built. They could have easily built them up, but they didn't. Shows you that the division within Esau's kingdom also shows you that the way the financial system is created, it's not safe. All right, and that's all because of these bankers. The international bankers have established their dominance around the world. That's why they made a laundry list of nations that did not have a central bank that's indebted. If I'm not mistaken, did we hit 39 yet? Let me find out. Let's see if we broke our own this record. No, we getting there. Still at 38. Was just a physical, but it's a lot bigger than that. So this is 38 trillion, not 38 billion, 38 trillion. And the average American is over $100,000 indebted to the system. That's how they got people. Gotcha. So when the Lord made that statement, lay not your treasures upon earth, but lay your treasure. It says, back to this. It says, verse 19, 6 and 19. It says, lay not up yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doeth corrupt, but thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doeth corrupt, where the thieves do not break through nor steal. It's not like they could get a rocket and shoot up into the heavens, into the realm of the Most High, and said, "Oh, where's the treasures for such and such? And let me take it." Nah, it doesn't work like that. See, when you it says, "For where your heart, so where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." Meaning where your mind is at. They can't freeze your spiritual bank. That's beyond them, and that's how they're gonna get majority of everybody tripped up. All right, what Mr. Nate refuses to acknowledge is the mark of the beast. He still say to this day is everything under the sun but what GMS says. All right, so all those people that have any sort of goods into this world, I gotta bring up my favorite though. Hang on. You are gonna be a world of hurt. Isaiah 24:2, straight to the point. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priests, as with the servant, so with the master, as with the maid, so with the mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. And what does that mean? Finally, equal opportunity. Everybody can be poor together. All right. And that's why everything like it was a second Batman. and the Joker made a pyramid of of money. So when the mob came into he was the head of the mob. He took over. They're like, oh shit, we about to make bread. And what did he end up doing? He ended up burning the whole thing down, which is a representation of the tear down of the financial system. All right, that's why when you watch that film, the characteristics of the Joker was the agent of chaos. Okay, his whole thing was in order to bring chaos. So it's bad when people leave hundreds of maybe hundreds of dollars or just regular dollars and make a pyramid, a joke out of it. Because the financial system is a joke. All right. Last scripture. I'm gonna make this too long. Zephaniah 1:18. It says, Neither shall neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day the Lord's wrath, but the whole land will be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Which that land is that? Land of America. All right. The great land grab, the great financial grab is right now. And it's kind of crazy. I was talking to another relative of mine, and she was like, you know, this guy that's in office and his friends, they're greedy. All right. They're all greedy. And they think with all that they have, that's going to protect them for the day of the Lord's wrath. Ain't going to do nothing. Matter of fact, that's going to be held as an account against you, an eyewitness against you. James the 5th chapter. All right. The Lord's going to show, like, wait a minute, you're caught red-handed with the goods in your hands. Like, you see a thief, he snuck into the person's house via the window, and they take the same exit out, and the cops catches them, put a highlight on them, and they right there they caught. Well, guess what? The same thing's happening spiritually. We had freaking millionaires that became trillionaires under this guy, and now there's more trillionaires than ever. That's why he meant by saying, "Oh, America is like it's booming." Okay, that's what he meant when he said that. But that shit ain't gonna get you nowhere. That's not gonna protect no one from that. If anything, that's gonna make a prime target because you can't take these riches with you to the afterlife. So with that being said, something real quick to the spirit, shalom to the elect and the nations, shalom.